Mr. Nugent. We should be live, and as I say before every live show that I do, I'm going to double check my phone, and make sure we're really live and we have audio actually coming through. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, Rex. How about you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine on this fine, warm summer evening that we have going on here.
Yes. It's been hot for sure.
Yeah, it has. And so we got a couple people already joining. We welcome everybody to comment. Tonight's the night. If you got some questions about the tournament coming up Saturday, make sure and ask those. We do pay attention to the comments and try to keep track of that. Um, we're going to sit here and ramble for just a minute or two. And while I make sure, we have good audio and all that. And folks, just so you know, we'll do about a 2.5 minute countdown. That allows everybody to get something to drink, grab some popcorn, whatever. Tag your friends that are fishing, some of the team members and all that, or anybody else that might be interested, and lets people get the notifications on Facebook and YouTube, and gives them time to come in. So we'll get started with the real information that's necessary here shortly. Hey, how about that college deal?
Yeah, Rex, I was going to mention we had a great time a few Saturdays ago. We had our top six, it was supposed to be our top six angler challenge. One of those anglers was out of town, so it ended up being the top five angler challenge. And it was just a great time to be able to partner our junior anglers with some of the LSUS anglers. So we just want to say a big thank you to Mr. Charles, the coach there at LSUS, for partnering with us, and for those five anglers that gave up their Saturday morning to come and fish with our young anglers. We wish the fishing was a little better. It was tough fishing, but they did, end up catching some great fish, few overs, and it was MLF style, so that was
Yeah,
fun. It was something different.
yeah, and of course, I we had a little bit of an issue that morning, and so I actually took one of the anglers out there for about an hour or two because, well, it was Trip. We'll just say it. Anyway, Trip was running a little behind. That's okay. We still like Trip. He's a great fisherman. Anyway, and I gotta say, I think if I'd have been able to fish the rest of the day, we would have done pretty darn good.
I hear you. I
Oh,
hear you.
you know me, I was in the skinny water. But anyway, that's a whole other story. It was a lot of fun. I think both the junior anglers and the college boys had a good time. So yeah, we appreciate them, and like you said, we appreciate Coach Charles, helping make that happen. So, all right, so
Absolutely.
we've got about half a dozen people watching. We're at about 3 minutes. All right, folks. So we're going to do a countdown timer. It'll be about 2.5 minutes or so. We want you to stay with us. Again, this just allows a few more people to get the notifications and come on board and start watching the video. So we will be right back. If you would, while we're in the countdown, tag some friends, that are fellow team members or whatever that are fishing the tournament, or anybody else with the junior league that might be interested in commenting or listening tonight. Go ahead and tag them or text them, let them know, hey, they're on. So y'all get on and let's talk about this. We will be back in about 2.5 minutes. Here we go. All right. So we made it through a countdown. We still have a couple of people watching. Folks, again, y'all make sure and let everybody know that we are online and we're going to be talking about the upcoming Junior League Championship. Now, one thing that you mentioned that we forgot to mention right before we went to the countdown was the fact that we would like to thank Megan and everybody at Drift Inn because they made some great cheeseburgers and hamburgers for that college deal that we had.
Yes, absolutely. We were so thankful for them working with us, and they actually, the owner there of the launch, waived the $5 fees for those, five boats, and they were able to provide. We gave us, cooked us a great meal, good hamburger. It's always Drift Inn's burgers are always great when you're coming off the water, especially on a hot day. So we thank them for what they did.
All right, so let's move on to the next item we have on our list. So that would be, I've got it down there as a fundraiser. So let's talk about that for a little bit. Do you want to kind of brief everybody or explain what this fundraiser is?
Sure, absolutely. So we've been blessed. Our league has been blessed. Um, came the funnel came through Keith at K and J Boat Polishing. He was given a guided trip on Lake Fork, and he donated that to our league, and just wanted to be able to be a blessing and be able to help the teams that have qualified for the Junior World Championship. So what we're going to do is we're providing a fundraiser for all of the anglers that are going to the Junior World Championship, which is the last week of July. And we are going to be selling raffle tickets for a guided trip on Lake Fork. And so we hopefully will have that available on our website to be able to buy tickets online. We're also going to be printing out some tickets for students to be able to sell. But we are so thankful for Keith to be able to donate this to us, and it's going to be a way to hopefully raise some funds to offset the trip this summer.
Yeah, because those trips are definitely not inexpensive, and considering gas prices right now, it's going to be really expensive this year. So, yeah,
Yes.
anybody that can or that will help participate in the fundraiser and buy some tickets and all that be a big boost to these young anglers and the boat captains and parents and all that headed out there. Okay,
Uh,
yeah. So I will have an online method to do that set up by Saturday
awesome. Thank you,
at some
Rex.
point. So we'll make sure that we make that happen. All right. So that takes care of the fundraiser. So I guess the next thing is we have to kind of assume that not a lot of or that not all the teams have fished Black Bayou at Hosston, and so we want to. First thing, I'm going to switch screens here. Let's bring up. Let's see if I get the right sheet up there. Let's bring up the. Well, yeah, we'll bring up this one first. Okay, so first thing is if you had never fished Black Bayou at Hosston, the main ramp that everybody uses is at the Robert L. Nance Park. So if you'll put Robert L. Nance Park in either Apple Maps or in Google Maps, depending on what kind of phone you have, Shane, I'm going to blank us out and make this a little bit
Okay.
larger for a second. Then your phone will take you right to the boat ramp. It's not hard to find, but if you just put Black Bayou in there, no telling what you'll get. All right, so if you'll put in Robert L. Nance Park in Hosston, it'll take you right to it. So that's the first thing is to get there. Next thing, Shane, what time does everybody need to start getting there?
Yeah, we're going to start checking boats around 4:15. So there's really no need to get there any earlier than that.
Right.
Really, we're going to try to be there around 4, but we're going to have plenty of time from 4:15. It's going to give us a whole hour. We'd love for everybody to be checked in and in the water in staging area by 5:15, with the hopes of being able to take off there at Safe Light about 5:45, 5:50.
Okay, and so we were talking about before the show, what if some folks, they get there a little early? Because look, it's, what is it, about a 35-minute ride for me, and I live in Bossier off of Shed Road, so maybe even 40 minutes or whatever to get up there. So, if somebody gets there early, I'm going to bring up the map because we kind of need to discuss, the traffic procedure and what to do. So, again, I'm going to kind of blow this up a little bit here and make it larger. So, uh, if you look over here where I've got the little finger pointing, this is where you come in to the park up here. This is coming off the highway and the main road. You come right along here and hang left. It's right there, just, I don't know, 100, 200 yards off the main highway right there. And it's a pretty steep incline. Right here, it's a pretty steep hill coming down. You're not going to want to walk up and down it too many times.
Mhm.
So, what we would like for folks to do is just be conscious of that. And if you happen to get there before 4:15, before Shane's there, before me or Charlie or anybody else, go ahead and come on down to where the boat ramp is and go up in this little semicircle and get yourself positioned right there. Okay, that's if you get there early. If we're already there, we're going to tell you where to go. All right. And, just remember it's kind of tight right here. And the boat ramp is a nice boat ramp. It's easy to get in and out, but there's only room for one boat. So we're going to be there to help direct and get everybody launched. Do not launch your boat. If you happen to get there way early, do not launch your boat till we get there and do the boat check, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then I just want to kind of show everybody again, we have this posted on Facebook if you can't see it on your mobile phone right here. But what we're going to do is we're going to do the boat check right down here in this area where the main parking is at the bottom of the hill by the ramp. And so as you come down, we're going to check your boat, hopefully real quickly right here, and then we'll move you on through the line because we have to have people circle back and fill up these parking spaces here. So the other thing is, of course, it's going to be dark. We always ask that you kill your headlights, turn on your parking lights so that you don't blind folks. And number two, pay attention to where one of us are directing you to park. And once we fill these up, then we'll start sending the remaining people up the hill. And there's some additional places to park in amongst the trees. And that's a whole other thing. You have to watch out for the trees. But we should also have somebody there to help guide people through that.
Correct.
That sound pretty close to what we
Sounds
hope
like
will happen?
Yeah, it sounds like a great plan.
Yeah, and it's not terribly complicated at all, folks. It's just that there's only about 25, 26 parking places down here. We're going to have, what is it, Shane, 35, 36 teams?
If everybody shows up, we'll have 35 teams.
Okay. So, and it's a little tight because you got to make this loop and turn right here. And so we're just asking everybody to pay attention, be patient, try to listen to us, and we'll help guide everybody through where we don't have any issues or whatever. And again, make sure that when you come down here for the boat check, you should have already kind of staged up here on top of the hill and have your lights ready, life jackets out and visible, and live well lids open, so that when you get down here where we're going to hopefully actually do the boat check, it's easy. We can see everything. We look, make sure your kill switch is there, and we get you looped around and get you in the water.
That's right.
All right, so that's in theory. We'll see how it works out Saturday morning. Okay, now we do have a comment. Shane, let me put this up on the screen real quick. This is from Joe Barmel. Joe, we appreciate y'all watching. Briggs and I will be out of town. Hey, we're missing it. Y'all have fun and catch some giants. Live well tip. We're going to talk about some of those. Put a bag of ice in the live wells in the morning and recirculate water. Good reminder. Thank you, Joe.
Absolutely.
All right, so before we get to the live well and fish care, all right, so let's talk about the what's next after we get them launched and in the water. All right, so you can see, folks, where I've kind of got this little S-curve right here because they've got a Salvinia boom there, and it's literally an S-curve that you have to zigzag through if you're in a larger boat. Just take your time. You might have to put it in reverse and straighten up a little bit and then curve on around. And once you come out of that boom, you're going to look to your left, and we're going to have everybody kind of stage in this open area over here that you can see that I have highlighted. Let me see if I can get the little pointer on it. All right, so we're going to have everybody stage over here. And then we'll probably, since I scratched my boat pretty good, we'll either have yours. I may go ahead and bring mine, but either way, we'll have a boat out here, all right, with a speaker. And Shane, why don't you pick up from there? How are we going to kind of do this process?
Yeah, so once we have everybody on the water, it's getting close to safe light, more than likely about 5:45, 5:50. We're going to have a prayer. We're going to have the national anthem. And then we're going to begin at safe light, calling out boat numbers. They're going to be going out in the order that they finish the season in points. So the anglers of the year, their reward, part of their reward is they're going out before anybody else. And so we'll call boat number one and call out their names, what school they're representing, and then they're gonna idle pass and get on plane on the boat row. We're gonna wait till they get to the second boat marker, and then we'll be sending the next team, boat 2, boat 3, on down all the way through 35.
Perfect. And so I went ahead and put up on the screen, and this is posted on the Facebook page and all that. This is the launch order, and then I've got a column for the team numbers that they've had all year, the team or school, and the anglers' names. This is the order everybody will go. Now, folks, I know y'all are gonna, see like 10 is duplicated, fourth is duplicated, 13 is duplicated. That's because there was a tie in points. Okay. But this is the order that they're going to go down. So if we get there, if we get to launch number 4, there, Mason Hicks and Seth Nugent, and if Mason and Seth are running late, then we're moving right on down to the next one, right?
Yes.
Okay. So just in case somebody's running behind, text Shane, text Charlie, text me, text somebody, and let us know, and that way we're a little prepared for it. All right, now. We did have a question. I don't have it pulled up, but we did have a question on the Northwest Louisiana Tournament News. I think it was it Trent Toops that asked the
Yes.
question. Said, well, look, that's not fair because team number 1 is going to have more time to fish than team number 35-ish or 36, which is the last set of 33s down here. And that is true, but there's a couple of things with that. So, Shane, why don't you address it from the team numbers and launch numbers side, and then I'll address it from flight side.
Sure. Yeah. So it's a controlled takeoff, and so we want to be able to call the anglers' names. They want to go out one at a time, and we want them to be part of that is they're rewarded by how they finish the season. The team number 1 is going to be honored and get to go first. Team 35, they made the cut, but they're at the bottom of the list, and so they're going to have to wait till the end. Yes, we're talking, a few minutes difference, but I'll let you go ahead and go into the flight time.
Yeah, so the thing is, on average, there should be a boat out of there about every 30 seconds, unless, somebody breaks down or something crazy happens. But on an average, if everybody's paying attention, we can get them through there every 15 to 30 seconds. So realistically, team 1's going to have about 15, maybe 20 minutes, let's say, more fishing time than the final team coming out of there. And yes, that is a slight advantage. But look, here's the thing. Even if we released and split it up into flights, you're going to split those flights apart, and the first team coming out of a flight is still going to have an advantage over the last team in a flight. Whether it's 5
That's
or
correct.
10 minutes, it's still an advantage. So we appreciate the question in the comment. We want to make sure and address it. And like you said, Shane, part of the reward for them finishing, number 1 spot, number 2 spot, number 3 spot, etc., is that they do have a few minutes more fishing time. But
Correct.
now the other side is, we could do a straight up shotgun start, but that's not the safest thing in the world, especially on Black Bayou, and nobody really does shotgun starts really anymore. And number 2, if we did a trailering event where there's only one other public ramp on Black Bayou and it's unusable right now because of Salvinia, and that's crazy. So this is, the safest way to do it. And I would argue it's the fairest way to do it. It's not going to be much of an advantage, but it will be a little.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So, that's the order right there, folks. That is posted on Facebook if you got a question of what order. Oh, I would also say this, guys. We've done a controlled takeoff with the Junior League before. So pay attention to your order and then who's in front of you and who's behind you. And when y'all are out there in the staging area, try to talk to everybody. Hey, which boat are you? Okay, yeah, you're one ahead of me, so I need to kind of stay relatively close to you so that I know when you get up there, I'm getting ready. And then as the boat in front of me gets down to that second marker, I'm ready for Shane or whoever to call my team name out. I'm ready to go. And that keeps the line flowing. So make sure and talk to each other that morning.
Yeah. Hey, Rex, while we're on that note, we actually do have a process of how we're breaking the ties. And I apologize, I did not let you know this, but
Okay.
my wife has already typed up the list based on breaking the ties. And the way that we're breaking the ties is the team who had the most weight for the year is going to go out before the other team that they're tied with.
So that list may change.
Yeah, that number instead of two fours, there's only going to be a 4 and a 5 on down the list, and so that's my fault. I did not let you know that, but we do have the individual ties broken up based on their total weight for the year.
All right. So this list will be very close. It's just some of the
Yes,
ties may flip.
yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So now, if she can get that ready, before Saturday, let
Yeah, I
me
have a
know.
list. I have a list in my truck now.
Okay, I'll get it from you, and then we'll repost the accurate list. So this will be very close. But again, teams four may flip flop. That's all. But still, know who is around you and who's ahead
Yes,
of you
sir.
and behind you. It just makes it easier when you're doing a staging and a controlled takeoff. Okay. So let me flip us back over to our other screen here so we can make sure we're going down our list. All right. So that gets us takeoff. And like you said, we want to encourage safety. So what's the rule as they're running down? Because, on Hosston at Black Bayou or Black Bayou up there, there's only one boat row and it's marked really well and
Yes.
numbered really well. So what's the rule for that when they're running down that boat road?
Yes, sir. So we're gonna not let them leave on the takeoff until they're at least two boat markers ahead to give a little distance there, and we want to encourage you to keep that distance as you're going down the lake. When you get ready to stop and get ready to start fishing in an area, you're gonna have to come off plane on that boat row and then quickly move over. And what we want to do for the safety is that we want both of the student anglers when you get ready to come off plane, boat captain, let your students know that you're coming off lane, and we want both of the students with their hands in the air, waving their hands, so it's signifying to the boat behind them that they're coming off plane. And
Yeah.
you must stay alert of that so you don't run on top of someone.
Yeah, because for those of you that had never fished up there, it's not difficult at all. But there's that one boat road. It's wide enough, but it's not. If you see somebody slowing down to idle and move off to the right, it's not like you need to swing way over to the left to get out of the way. You do that, and you may not have your lower unit anymore.
That's right.
So yeah, like you said, everybody pay attention. And when you come out, if you're idling from a fishing area and coming back out to the boat road, just pay attention as you're running in all that sort of thing. Safety first.
Absolutely.
All right. Oh, let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about the entry fee.
Yes, absolutely. So we're charging $20 per team, which is what we charge during the regular season tournaments. However, just a reminder, the top five teams, which ended up being there's a tie for fourth. So both of those fourth place teams and above, their entry fees are covered by K&J Boat Polishing. He donated another $100, so they're covered. And everyone else, unless you know that your coach is covering your entry fee, which I know the Halton coach has paid for theirs. I believe the Walnut Hill coach is paying tomorrow. And so, parents, if you can, boat captains, just be prepared. If you're not sure if your coach is already taking care of the fees, please bring $20 and be prepared to take care of that entry fee at boat check.
Okay, good. So, all right. So let's move on. So that covers the entry fee. We'll talk about boat or the weigh in and parking here in a few minutes. Let's talk about 3 fish limit, right?
Yes,
12-inch minimum, correct?
absolutely.
All right. There's no slot on Hosston, so it's just a 12-inch minimum, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then fish care. Now, look, I was up there Monday afternoon. Water temperature, surface temp varied between 89 degrees and 94 degrees. And I actually went swimming at the boat ramp for a few minutes. So let me tell you, it was 94 degrees from the surface all the way down almost to my feet. I mean, in other words, the water's really warm, folks. So
Yeah.
fish care is going to be a huge thing, and we want to try to do everything we can to keep the fish alive. A, you get penalized if you bring a dead fish in. B, we don't want to kill any of the bass. We want to be able to turn them loose and folks catch them again. So Joe Barmel's already mentioned, and we've had some comments on Facebook, and we appreciate all of them. Having a bag of ice, and I would go one step further. Here's what I recommend: is if you've got some 2-liter bottles or water bottles, freeze those. Here's the reason.
Yeah.
Shane, you know me, and I'm not a huge fan of using fresh tap water to keep fish alive because it's exceedingly low oxygen. So you have to have it aerated a long time before you use it. So by using the water bottles, that keeps the tap water contained in there. and it'll actually melt a little slower. Now, if nothing else, grab you a couple bags of ice because you want to keep that water temperature about 10 to 15 degrees if possible than the outside temperatures. You don't want it too cold because that'll actually shock the fish, and well, that's bad too. So you want to
Mhm.
just keep it cooler, and you want to run your recirculator or aerator all day. Don't put your
Yes.
freshwater fill on in all day because you're just going to be bringing warm water back in. What you want to do is get your live well filled up, close it off. Again, it depends on your boat model and live well system. Close it off to keep that water in there contained, and turn on your recirculation aeration pump. Okay, along with the ice, and G-Juice or Rejuvenate helps tremendously. It actually helps decrease the salt content that builds up in the water from the fish, from the urea in the water. That's a huge thing as well, not just the temperature, which is why we recommend stuff like G-Juice or Rejuvenate or whatever. So you want to make sure and use that, and just keep those aerators running all day.
That's right.
All right. Let's see. Now, Jeremy Gallman says, I will take care of Elm Grove on the entry fees. All right.
Great. That's
Uh,
great.
Charlie Nichols says, don't hit a channel marker pole, right,
Oh,
Brother Shane?
he knows. He knows.
Yeah, you got to watch those pesky channel markers out there. It is marked really well, so that is a plus. Now, I'll also say this. At about the channel marker number 45, 46, where it does the S curve as it starts really narrowing down, that's where the wall of Salvinia was Monday. From there all the way back to the boat ramp at the park was relatively open. I mean, there was Salvinia up on the banks, pushed up, but it was relatively open, at least Monday. So I think it should be relatively easy fishing as far as the Salvinia is for everybody on Saturday.
That'd be great.
All right. Let's talk about weigh-in and spectator parking and how we're going to handle that. So let me flip the map back up over here. Let's turn that one off and turn that one on. Okay. And again, folks, I know if you're on a mobile phone, that's kind of small and hard to see, but you can pull it up on Google Maps or Apple Maps. So the challenge is going to be that the parking down here by the boat ramp is going to be full between the junior teams, and then if anybody happens to be there, the general public there fishing that morning, and they get there early. So there is a little bit of parking up here on the hill. We're going to try to use that for additional boats and trailers. So it's going to kind of be a, free for all as far as whatever other parking. You can park parallel to the road here. Just make sure you're off the road. We can't block any traffic on both sides up here. So there is a place to kind of pull off there, and even back to the highway, which means you may have to walk a little bit. But the highway is just, 100, 150 yards, 200 yards, whatever it is. So, but again, anybody that's parking there, do not block the road. We don't want anybody towed, or the sheriff's deputies have to come out there and say something or anything like that. All right, weigh in. Let's talk about, explain the tent setup for us and all that.
Yeah, we're hoping to have a big tent set up there where you see that marked on Rex's map. There's a restroom there, facility just above that area. But we're hoping to have a big, large tent there to have some shade and hopefully have a little cool area for folks to be under and for the weigh-in to take place. And so, yes, we want to. It's going to be tight on parking, but we may have somebody with like a golf cart types for little deal, maybe be able to help getting people from the main road over to the weigh-in. And so we may have that available, but not 100% sure. But you do may have to walk a little bit, may have to walk. But there's also a hill right there that you're
Yes.
coming down, and we're going to be kind of at the bottom of that hill from that road there, and where that restroom area is. It's a pretty steep hill, so just be careful walking down, walking up. But you'll be able to see where our weigh-in is going to be. It's going to be under the big. It's going to be under the big tent.
Yeah, it's obvious, no doubt about it. But, and look, folks, like we said, it's going to be sure enough hot. So make sure if you're a spectator family member, bring you a bottle of water or two. Again, we should have the big tent set up, so that'll provide a little bit of shade. Honestly, there's not many trees right here in this area, where we're going to have the weigh-in, unfortunately. So hopefully we'll have that tent set up, but make sure and bring you an extra bottle of water or something. I'm sure we'll have an ice chest with a few waters, but
Yes.
bring you something to drink if you're a spectator, and That way everything can go smoothly. Okay. Scales open at what time?
Scales open at 12 noon,
Okay.
and you must be checked in, which is going to be there at that tent by 12:45. That's where you're going to come check in at the check-in table. That's where you're going to pick up the weigh bag. You do not come to the scales, but unless you have one of our league weigh bags, and so that's where you'll pick that up and check in is at that tent.
All right. Yeah, and look, it's just 25 yards from the boat ramp over here to the check-in area and the weigh-in area. So it's right there and it's easy to get to. And I'd also like to point out that as you're coming in off the water, once you snake through the Salvinia boom and all that, there's some areas right along here and right along here that you can pull your boat up. If you're waiting to get the trailer in the water or going to go ahead and bring your fish up or whatever. And, if there's nobody fishing off the dock, then a couple of boats, can get over here by the dock as well and along this bank if there's nobody fishing from the bank.
That's correct.
All right. I think, let's go back and double check our list. I think that pretty much covers it. We talked about 3 fish limit. We talked about fish care. We talked about parking and check-in, the extra entry fee. Folks, we've got about a dozen of y'all watching, so we appreciate everybody watching. Any other questions or commentary before we sign off here in just a couple of minutes? Brother Shane, anything you want to mention or bring up?
Yeah, we just want to mention, man, thanks to, I had forgotten one. This championship, the grand prize, we forgot to mention at our banquet that we
Oh,
had at
yeah.
Bayou, and we almost forgot to mention it now. But we are so thankful for all of our sponsors. But our title sponsor again this year is Bass Pro Shops. And on Saturday, the team that wins the championship is not only going to win our normal payout, which was the check to the boat captain and boat Bass Pro cards and all of that, but they're also winning 2 brand new kayaks donated from Bass Pro Shops that Charlie and I were able to pick up this afternoon. So
Yeah.
those things I haven't looked at the value. They're I'm guessing anywhere from $700 to $800 a piece.
Yeah.
And so we are so very thankful. Also, if you notice the first place, it says trophy instead of plaque. There's going to be a different trophy presented to the champion this weekend. And so it will not be the normal wooden plaque that we've been giving out all year. It'll be a special trophy for the championship, along with some Bass Pro cards and some checks and all for the boat captains. We'll do that through 5th place, and then 6th place and on we'll get through 10th place. We'll get Bass Pro gift cards and prizes as available. And then we will be honoring and recognizing our Angler of the Year, the Team of the Year that we've already recognized at the banquet. And we gave out, rods and rods at the, for the top 3 teams. But we do have some special things to give out and recognize to our Anglers of the Year, which was Noah Martin and Riley Skiro from Northwood.
Awesome. All right, so it sounds like it's going to be a pretty good deal. Hey, Stephen Bissell, glad to have you watching and commenting. So Stephen says he will take care of Stanley's entry fees, so that's a big help.
Awesome.
Thank you there, Mr. Stephen, and thank you for watching. All right, any other questions or commentary, folks? Brother Shane, anything else?
I don't think so, Rex. I just want to thank you for all you do for our league, and thank you for taking this time to do this this evening, and all that you've done all year. You're awesome, and I appreciate all the time you put in for our boys and girls.
Oh, hey, look, I appreciate y'all, and it's a group and team effort to make sure these kids have fun and learning experience. And I say it all the time, but watching these, young and smaller kids with their jerseys on and weighing fish, it's just that right there is just awesome.
Absolutely. It's going to be hot, guys. Make sure you bring ice chest for you, also for your fish, but make sure you bring plenty of fluids for you, all 3 of you in the boat. Make sure you bring sunscreen and bring plenty of water, Gatorade, or something to stay hydrated.
Yeah, and as we close out, Jeremy Gallman reminds everybody, hey, you can go to highschoolbassclassic.com and sign up for that. That's going to be an exciting tournament, which is open to some of the junior anglers as well as the high school side. So y'all go check that out and let your friends know. And we'll talk some more about that later on as well. What else for tonight, though?
I think that's about it, Rex. I appreciate you.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and sign off, folks. Again, we appreciate all y'all watching, tag, and share. Let all the other teams that are fishing know to, watch this. That way, if they have any questions. And I guess, I don't know when the next one of these live shows that we're going to do will be.
We're wrapping up the season.
Yeah. Oh,
But
man.
we do have at least one more, if not more, sponsor highlight videos that we do
Yeah, we
need to
do.
cut. So
And you know what?
be on the lookout for that.
We may set up and do a couple of these, between now and the beginning of next season, some informational stuff too, just to keep everybody in the loop and all that sort of things. All right. That's it for
Absolutely
tonight.
appreciate you.
All right. Talk to y'all later. Thank you for watching, folks.